here's the Sonya map. Okay, we've been talking about it a lot. Sonya's been used here crazy amount. We saw Miracle triple tank run Sonya here. We've seen other teams start to sort of slowly adapt Sonya as well after Nacho-Jin's success. But my question is, will Alex Strauss have a place in this draft? Because this is a map where Alex Strauss could draw bans, and that means that Maiev potentially becomes available again, and everything starts to get a little bit more complicated. Hyde has played Alex Strauss before, and if you compare these two supports, Hyde and Magi, Hyde is probably the better Alex Strauss player. Sonya insta-ban.
Sonya first ban.
So you've got the Sonya effect, you have the Alex Strauss effect. There's a lot to think about here.
So we'll have a lot of them open, but Genji cannot make it out. There's no way.
Never.
Ooh, what was that?
I'm not sure. It was bright and exciting, though, just like this series. So Tempest now has to be the one to make the tough choice, right?
This map, Li Ming is not as powerful because of the defenders blocking all the missiles and shots.
If they ban Alex, like, so much is open. It's crazy. Ban the Hanzo instead. Alex Strauss is released, buddy.
They felt that pain last game. Which opens up a lot more.
Tempest,
Diablo?
Yeah, Tempest can pick
Thrall?
Diablo, Thrall, Alex Strauss,
Maiev.
Those are the big ones here. I think Diablo might be the safest ban. They ban Maiev. If you first pick Alex Strauss here, you leave yourself very wide open for counter drafting. Because you're drafting something that's going to be a sustained comp, it's going to be operating around the shrine, controlling that, living longer, using Dragon Queen. Hyde's a very good Alex Strauss player, so it may be worth it here, but I think that the Diablo pick would have been the better option. They go completely left field here with the first pick Urel, and guess what? Ballistix not going to think about it for a second.
Okay, Tempest, I will actually be quite frustrated if they don't have anything crazy special. And there's a real good reason why they first picked Urel. I know they banned Sonya, but there were lots of options. And they don't even have the DPS unless they have everything figured out. They just gave up top tier 2 heroes.
They certainly did. And it's Thrall again. And that's a concern for Lockdown with his performances so far tonight. Remember, when you look at these two heroes that Ballistix picked, the best heroes on the map given availability, sometimes you see Diablo given and it's countered by Malthael, or excuse me, well, Malthael to a certain extent, but also the Leoric pick. And because they first picked Urel, neither of those things are relevant anymore. And suddenly you have this perfect Diablo. They could even play Medivh with this if they want to. I think it's not even out of the question. You've banned the Sergeant Hammer because you have to. It's map dependent. Ballistix has every possible opportunity now. The only thing they're worried about is SC's hero.
Oh, they do have Phoenix. They do catch Phoenix all the time here. Just except for game number 2.
Think about how powerful Entomb plus Lornado, all the damage with that Lightning Breath could be against this comp that has to be so far forward in order to do damage with Raynor again. ETC. And there's nothing about this G-Clef that stands out to me. It says...
I think this screams out for a stage dive. They want to macro this one out. Because they have a lot of sustain with Thrall Urel. And try to sustain for level 10. And then try to go for that global.
Does this convince you the Urel first pick was correct?
Not too much.
Me neither.
Yeah, not really. That's why I said stage dive. Which could work on this map. It's actually really good once you can actually force them to be in there.
Tychus with the final pick here to help burst down Urel and ETC. Very powerful follow-up. Grenade burst damage as well. It's kind of a closer. Be very, very good in conjunction with the salvo coming out. Before anyone in Twitch chat gets too excited about Planet Cracker, that's not happening. ETC is going to be really good for the early game. Normally, ETC would be good for the early game. And I think in this map he will as well versus Diablo before Diablo gets a lot of stacks. So maybe we'll have to see who can play a little bit more passive. But there's not a lot of CC with ETC in the early game. So what's he roaming around accomplishing? It's not going to be Lockdown's Thrall. You know, it's going to be played by Dami, you would think.
Maybe the rotation of 4-man just have Thrall lane and have Irel together with ETC has been a really strong ganking combo, but it's not that common. And compared to it, Ballistix has less CC this time, but if you just think about Leoric Diablo, post-stand a lot more, but they still have that old man that talks forever, so they can trap him down in CCs.
He heals forever, he's got base armor. It's easier said than done. The thing is, it actually looks like in every regard, Ballistix wins. They win the 4-man versus Thrall easily, and it's not even Crash Lightning here, so there's no value to be had there, which, again, not really as valuable on this map, but they're going to win the 4-man. Leoric should win in this Yrel matchup, ideally, unless he makes huge mistakes in terms of his grab to get the heals. Phoenix is already pushing bot. Look at this. Diablo threatens, and then SC is pushing the lane. I mean, what does Tempest have here besides the ETC to threaten that looks like, oh yeah, this is great for level 1? Not a whole lot.
They do have ETC though.
Okay, this is a nice rotation. That's going to get them first blood. That's the kind of play that you need when you're having a bad matchup in the bot lane.
Super early game. Junga comes back to life in less than 10 seconds-ish. They do get a nice start.
Gotta be careful.
ETC early game is not as strong as before though, because Diablo has been kind of reworked. We have a lot of other tanks that's just really strong and sustained. That's also because not just the tank changes, that we have a lot more solo lane that actually has CC along with them, like Irel and Blaze.
That's true. The strength of ETC in this case is going to be things like this, the invade, and also very close call there on the warp. Also, when you have the better wave clear like Ballistix does and you're trying to shove in, you're getting greedy and trying to push onto the cannon towers, that's when Tempest has the ability to strike with that ETC pick, power slide behind enemy lines, get that base melt off, and then get a grab on an early kill that way. Again, easier said than done. I'm telling you guys, we're not leaking Sombra. I know it was a joke yesterday, but like, it's, I promise you. If Sombra comes out, I did not leak this, okay? I have no idea who the next hero is. Okay, grab here onto Hooligan. This is what I'm talking about, where they're trying to get these follow-ups, but Deckard Kane's CC is just superior. Hooligan gets the grab. SC with a later rotation. Junga's coming down.
But no extra CC, so they're not going to really chain up. Maybe Irel will.
Ends up being a good trade for Tempest, I think, overall.
And the only thing will be Tempest actually missing some experience at the bottom. That will be the only thing.
Look at SDE. Best Tychus in the world, man.
His win rate is actually insane, close to 70-something.
Yeah, I was talking about it with Rapid the other day. Looking at it right now, he's played 2 games this split as 50% win rate, but last split he had
75%.
75 flat, yeah.
And used 24 times.
Well, this is going to be a really tough comp to break through for Tempest.
Ooh,
against.
Nice charging direction. I thought he was going to go out the other way.
But now that the fight is being turned here by this Scroll of Sealing, Tempest has to be careful. SC was in disruption mode, so having a lot of extra AoE and range here to push everyone back. On the side, Tempest, Hooligan Hearths, he's got, or not Hearths, Taps, he's got a ton of health regen, even without full stacks. Dami's the target. Very low, just gets out of that Scroll of Sealing. But the fight is definitely one for Ballistix now. You cannot come back in here. But is trying his best. Lockdown's going to hard engage. Very, very risky stuff. Hooligan comes in. They've got the lockdown here. Look at this, another route. And Tempest is fighting a losing battle here against all this damage from SC.
They're trying to pick up in numbers. Only 3 more to go for Ballistix. Super
close. It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
Respawn's coming for both. Ballistix does get the Punisher, but
and now
casualties gets the picks.
Really nice Q there, actually, by Good. Without that Q, I think this ends up being either a trade or actually Ballistix gets that kill first. That was really well done.
That was one of the closest Punisher fight we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
in terms of numbers.
This reminds me of like 2015 OGN. It's like every fight was like this. People were diving and dying.
Diving and dying, everyone's screaming out, is this QM? No, this was actually them having positioning, just waves going in and out, sustaining. And White Man actually healed a lot without losing too much members for themselves.
Yeah. Ballistix just, you know, the power of Phoenix, the ability to do AoE damage, then poke with AoE damage, just keeping Tempest back. And White Man has to be on point, as you were saying.
I thought that was going to be a losing trade for Tempest, but because Ballistix, once they have 10, it will be even worse. They will have Entomb to trap down a lot of the members. And look at the roster of Tempest. They can only theoretically, without Crowd Surfer on ETC, only Irel can escape. So once that's available, with a lot of the pair up with the Diablo Lightning Breath or Salvo, I think Ballistix just win the Triumph fight big time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true in most cases, right? If you set it up correctly. Okay, good. Rooted here, but look at Sign coming in for a perfect power slide. SC cannot get out. He's killed. And the ETC effect here in the early game continues to be quite impactful. That's going to be a camp invade to steal. SDE, close call there. Sign was about to have his power slide up. But imagine that fight with Mosh Pit. That's a double mosh with that power slide. They get even more. Comes an insane fight. This wall is not long for this world, as Tempest commits for it. Urel is just matching the Yorick's rotations right now, and Tempest is pushing closer to 10. And that's important because of the power spike you just mentioned. If they get it first, that's going to mean that potentially they take the next Shrine fight without having to deal with Entomb.
They actually got a pretty good catch-up in that. The Punisher did a little bit little bit more than what it actually should have the first one. Jungha just looking for 10. Entomb is a big chance. You have a lot of members you can trap down with that Entomb. And SC, oftentimes he was actually grabbed, and he couldn't warp away in this game already. And I think that those are the reasons why we actually see why he does not really like to play Phoenix. It's not the same style we see having Phoenix on SDE or SCSC, where SDE will just escape.
Yeah.
It seems easy, but SC actually gets trapped all the time.
Yeah, he's just not as comfortable with the hero. And I think it's because of his very greedy playstyle. And even though Warp is an insta-escape, it is one of the most powerful escapes in the game, it has a small channel time. And I think SC is just not used to that style. He's just used to the Volleyball, which is like instant, right, to get away, or Hanzo Jump, which is instant to get away. And Phoenix is a little bit different. And against an ETC, for example, you know, that's a risky run. You get caught during that Warp animation. It's very short, the window, but at this level of play, you see interrupts happen. Hooligan looks like he's considering an APOC here. Don't know if that's the right move, especially with Entomb available. Everything else self-explanatory here. Big root onto Dami. He's caught here. Here's the commitment. Sundering defensively. Entomb is available though. Here's Lightning Breath locked in. Entomb on the Sign.
No para with the salvo.
Sleep for the follow-up. There's the big salvo now. But look at this. Ardent Defender keeping Lockdown alive. He's up in the front lines. And Ballistix. They looked like they had total control over this fight, but I think Tempest has wrestled it away from them now.
The sustain is much better for Tempest than all the members of Ballistix just away from the zone. Great control by Sign.
Looks like they want to just get the last few defenders here. That's why they're rotating in. Sign does get that nice power slap. They're going to get a kill. 5 defenders to go, though. Looks like Ballistix just wants to rush it down. All the stacks lost, meanwhile, by the way, for Hooligan. Jungha very likely going to die here, but they do get the Punisher. So worth it in the end, especially for, you know, hashtag trait value.
Not the worst case for either team. I think Tempest was trying to get some more kills, catching Phoenix in this case, but that didn't happen. SC managed to escape really well this time. This Punisher is going down super quickly.
Entomb here, though, should mean that nothing is going to come of it. In fact, Dami's the target. The Punisher gets involved. Lightning Breath is out. Hooligan is knocked away, though, twice.
But no salvo to pair it up. There's a Sunder to trap down Hooligan. Great zoning tool. Even Maki just using it just for the safety, but a lot has been used.
A lot of missed skills on that little choke point there.
And he was actually body blocking Diablo as well. That was a funny moment there. But Tempest managed to get the Punisher. without the fort going down. So that's a good news for them.
Yeah. Remember too that SDE has been split pushing top this entire time, getting that extra soak. The wave was favorable for him, so he was able to go up there and manage the push that was on the wall. So he got free soak there and then pushed another wave. So forces the rotation up now for Lockdown. Tempest is now kind of setting up for a 13 talent tier advantage. How do they initiate the next fight? 50 seconds until Mosh, something that Ballistix is keeping in mind, but Sign is still far forward here because Sundering's about to be up. And right now, this is the scariest moment for Ballistix for this next shrine. Because Tempest is just roaming around because there's no other objective on the map, so Tempest is just looking to get a fight here when they have this advantage.
Leoric seems to be the target, but Jungha managed to escape.
Yeah, they're just going to turn this into a well. This ends up being effective either way. Look at Lockdown getting all this information. This is a choke point they do not want to go in against Sundering.
Maybe they do, because they do spot Phoenix and they do have Hyperion. Just going to rotate.
Yeah, I mean, Ballistix, you know, if they go in that choke right there, just because they see out of position Yrel, doesn't always mean it's going to be a good fight. Look at this rotation now for Ballistix. Looks like a little bit lost. You know, they're 5-manning here, but they're not accomplishing anything, whereas Tempest is kind of splitting. They have extra soak. Lockdown's in the top lane. Very safely behind the wall, mind you, because they didn't have vision. Now, only just now does it feel comfortable to actually attack that minion wave.
And notice how during the team fight it's really hard to see, but Sign would, whenever Diablo goes for a target, Sign would be nearby, or he would actually come in with the power slide and space melt Diablo away, so they can't actually focus the perfect time. So it's actually a good peeling tool against Diablo, but they can't manage to put out the percent damage that actually wants to fool Diablo. Of course, they got the souls and one stack's gone, but when that's been kept up, can they have enough damage to focus Hooligan? We'll have to see on that.
Yeah. Top is going to be the next shrine. It's just announced. As for the moment, Tempest is a little bit slow on identifying what Ballistix was doing. Ballistix knew earlier that, in fact, Tempest was taking this cap, so they actually get soaked first in mid.
12 minutes. Yeah. No forts.
No forts. Very passive game here. 5 kills, but the objective being 1 for Ballistix means that they still have that lead. Structural damage. Slow here into the root, but it's not going to mean anything. Good, though. Taking a lot of damage, but here comes the engage. Sign has Mosh finally. This could be a Sundering into a very valuable Mosh here. Look at Dami just threatening that right now. As the AoE damage comes through from SC's.
And Hooligan actually bought a good amount of time for them to get some defenders. 10 up right now for Ballistix. They want to get the objective a lot more than the team fight.
I think Tempest actually just has to commit to a fight here. Heal Deny comes through. Hooligan's caught by the Sundering the Sleep here to try to keep him alive. Does have that lightning breath coming out. Big salvo, good. Barely escapes in the back, and they have that opening pick, so even though they're down 12 defenders here, they should be able to get back onto the shrine and start cleaning it up. And in fact, Ballistix just going to give this away.
This was their goal from the beginning. Win the team fight and then take the Punisher. But Ballistix had a different idea where they just have Jungha up there like a Sonya-ish. Just doing the shrine by himself all the time, making sure they have sustain. But in this case, great isolation with the Sundering getting a pick onto Hooligan. And that's what they wanted to do this entire series. Yeah. Finally, they're making that work a little bit on Dami's Thrall this time.
It's a good reminder that the only defender kill that matters is the 40th. And everything before that can all just be wiped away if you are able to, during that farming phase for the enemy team, find a better engage angle. The Sundering was so good. You know, it's not Lockdown who gets redemption on the Thrall, it's Dami, in fact. Another player who avoided playing Thrall throughout his career.
Yes.
But, I know in this meta you have to. Like, you cannot avoid it here.
Yeah, I remember the conversation. A long time ago where Wolf asked the question, why not Dami, why do you not play Thrall? He just does not like it, you know?
Yeah,
it's like SC not liking Phoenix.
Well, good
strat, but Diablo can't really go and there's no wall to connect into.
He's got the armor here, so he heals through. Sundering is up again. It's on a very, well, I don't want to say very low cooldown, but for what it does, it's actually quite low. more impactful than Mosh Pit more consistently in a lot of these fights.
They have this zone, so Ballistix SD is at the bottom, and he has to come all the way around. So that's a small little value that Tempest is getting by controlling the zone here with the camp control.
Yep, they just basically guaranteed vision so that the Causer camp would actually kill that.
Yeah, nicely done.
That was the idea, the plan with that for Tempest. Very risky, but very rewarding when they were able to pull it off. And this is their game now. They have full control. Hooligan needs to be careful about coming up like this, though. He's going to eat so much damage. Here comes Dami, sundering up. So be careful about Hooligan being alone, but the rest of the team rotates in. Meanwhile, Jonga getting a lot of split push done in the top lane, catching up on that experience.
Yeah, but Irel rotates up, so that's not too much lost on the minion.
Oh, Dami doesn't know. He has no idea. He is so dead. Could not be more dead. Small mistake here leads to a huge victory for Ballistix, who can now shove this into the bot fort and kill it.
Such a painful moment.
Such a painful moment indeed.
As he has Sundering, he has all the lead for the team, make great initiations, and you just face check into the bottom where you think the rotation is going to be.
Yeah, that's just a, a momentary lapse of judgment. And it's also so frustrating for Tempest because they're down 2-1, right? One more loss and they're out. They had control of the game, and now they no longer have control. Fort's gone. They're going to push even for this mid fort. This is the first time Ballistix has been able to really push out on the map and take objectives.
Yeah, look at Hooligan's HP bar. That's like a barcode right there.
Yeah.
And you don't even have that much time. You lost your macro when they had the control. But trying to regain that with Thrall coming back, getting the bottom. And the bottom fort is also damaged for Ballistix. I'm pretty sure they want to rotate after this game. Control, time it with the next shrine phase.
That's going to be exactly what they're going to do. If they clear the top camp as well, or the red camp, then that's going to be really impactful. I guess I want to say split pushing, but it's camp. The camp will actually get value the longer this goes on because it's the opposite side of the wall. Looks like both teams are just going to ignore it, let the camps clash in the middle of the lane, because getting control of the shrine first is more important right now. There's no globals here.
Yeah, before Shrine, in that small choke point against Thrall, you do not want to engage in even as a Hooligan. You felt it last time. Not 20 yet.
Okay, and Tomb can get a lot done here. The Root's going to help set it up. The DPS is, of course, in a safe position, so they do not commit the Entomb yet. Look at this angle, though. Dami.
Great grenade. Facing up with some pokes from Hooligan as well. But Tempest is getting more from the camp.
SC is out of position, but now they're going to look to maybe turn this fight around.
And Odin's up. They're getting more numbers, so Lockdown jumps in there. Catching up in number. Hooligan focused.
All the Deckard healing coming through. Oh, look at the
Steel Wire was cancelled. Mosh Pit onto Deckard. Can they focus on him? No, the aggro's on Hooligan.
And they have a Sundering available here, but they need to use it correctly. Comes out decently. SC gets 20 just in time to get the shield, but it's not enough to save him. Here's the sleep, the second one here. No way out. No way out for ETC. Sign is dead.
And Jonga picks up all the numbers, 39.
39, and that's going to be the last one here.
Our
defender's going to buy time, but that's all.
No one else will connect the damage onto Magi.
Good's
coming around.
Mounted. He's mounted. Magi has that 10 armor. That's all he's got. He's dead. Good's still alive here.
He gets the kill. He comes back. That's 20. They can sustain Lockdown. He's on the rail. He gets to save for a long time with that white mate healing.
Oh, there's a route onto SD, but he does get the dash.
But Punisher
away.
is pushing. It's going to the keep.
The Punisher is pushing. Jonga is dead. And now they have to go back and deal with this. It's going to get the wall easily, as SD just goes up to the top to make sure they keep their keep wall. I think this will basically touch the keep once, but will not really do that much. In fact, with Heroes already baiting it away, it might not even get that chance to damage the actual keep. Tense game here. Tempest winning almost every fight, but the objectives are going to Ballistix. And the longer the game goes on, the more impactful that will actually become.
That was a scary moment where Stay a While and Listen actually got cancelled by... Couldn't tell if it was the power slide or the face melt, but Signs got it. The trapping down the Deckard, which meant no save healing or healing for a Hooligan. They actually bought just enough time, both sides, to let all the DPS do the damage, and then it just became a mess right after.
They got SC's passive shield too, which is actually one of the huge things he has at 20. So when he, in the next fight, he probably will not have it. That's on an insanely long cooldown. So...
Didn't see that grenade.
Yeah, no, we won't talk about that. But that's a nice win for Tempest. Keep their keep alive.
Yeah, 1% extra damage.
Obviously going to be very powerful, and that's probably one of the biggest spikes, minus the silence for Leoric. That's the biggest one here at 20. Interestingly enough, Sign actually pre-locked the Bolt. You almost never see that in professional play. He's just so sure that's going to be what he needs. Bolt for Sundering as well is one of the most powerful tools to set up a fight in the entire game. You bolt to an angle you're not supposed to be and have insane flanking Sundering. Escaping is impactful as well, but the engage potential that Thrall has now post 20 is off the charts.
It's actually really hard, what we can tell. Even with that extra shield, SC melted right there.
Yeah, and
with
now
that Bolt, Hooligan will be, unless he really goes aggressive, you won't be really able to catch that Diablo.
True. I think the shield should be up now, since we've had such a lengthy passive moment here. Is no objectives are worth contesting at this stage of the game because one team fight means the game for either of these teams with keeps open at top and bottom respectively. Such like everything gets silent in this moment as Tempest is going to make the first move defensively here to back off, look for a potential engage. So Ballistix is kind of like, well, I'm bullying you, and Tempest actually sets up the
Well, keep your eyes on Dami.
Yes.
He's going to bolt in and Thunder. That's going to be the moment where it decides everything.
Yeah, if you're watching his first-person view, get ready, as this is going to be the moment to watch, the moment to clip.
Yeah, the 2 on Dami and Leoric having that silence on that Entomb now.
If you silence the Thrall, if you're able to even catch him there, he can't Sunder, he can't Bolt, you can actually kill him, but it's very risky. But we have seen that before. The Leoric just find the Thrall, silence him, and then kill him. Because you know when he's trying to set up those big flanks, he's always alone, roaming to the side. And you have to be careful about that. Very powerful thing you can do. Avoiding the Sundering is very difficult because you can't really predict the angle it will be. Bolt is instantaneous. It's an insta-cast ability. They'll probably remove it from Thrall at some point, but still there for now.
Oh, no exit for Dami.
This is a bad angle
Trapping
for
him.
Tempest.
Okay, pressuring up. Good job by Good here, there. Trap him. Lockdown goes in, but Hooligan's focused and isolated. Bolt's out just in time.
Dami matches him, bolting over as well, but Hooligan is living through this. He's living through all the heals. He's got tons of regen. He's got a massive health pool. Tempest wins the fight, but in just a moment, everyone's going to be back up and healed. Both bolts on cooldown for Diablo and the Thrall, but it looks like Ballistix is just simply going to give this up.
That was a close moment. If either one of them died, it was certainly Punisher plus the keep almost.
Yeah, no hearth, just a tap. And certainly you are absolutely right.
And for Tempest, they still have the fort, so it's less of a pressure for them.
Exactly. They have the healing fountain right here. So they have more time. All they have to do is win this fight. There's the silence! And the big salvo coming in afterwards, and it's Whitemane who dies. Silence, and that can heal no one. No escape, no way out. And that's the pick they were looking for. Looks like Tempest is going to have to give this up. They're going to get ready to clear these waves, as they know that this next push could end the game. 47 seconds until Whitemane is respawned. When Hyde comes back, they can make a big effort to defend. And obviously they still have the majority of their heroics here. 40 seconds they will have that Ardent Defender, so it's basically going to be all of their heroics versus all of Ballistix.
Yeah, without the first heal, we'd say rely on this. Even ETC.
Okay, Lockdown, he wants to flank this. They don't have a healer, but they're still going to try to fight this. Magi is the target. Sundering here.
Zero-man Mosh, and he's gone. Hyperion doing some damage, but they have to focus damage on SC Phoenix. Going in straight diving. There's no one who can stop that Phoenix right now.
That's the end of it. 3 kills here. Ballistix has the Punisher. It's a Mortar Punisher, but it will end this game. 2 seconds until the respawn of Hyde. There's just nothing they could do. They don't even have Sundering. They used it in that fight. Tempest made a tough call. We're 25 minutes nearly into the game, so sometimes you feel like you have to fight away from keep or you're going to lose it no matter what. They tried, they failed, and that will be the end of it. This is just a formality. Salvo Gonna get the blow up there. Dami will be the second to die. They do get the counter kill there onto SDE.
Yeah, but the Punisher is 90%. There's no way of stopping this with Thrall alone.
And SDE
There's
still has a
no
shield
way.
too.
Another stun. Hooligan tosses him over. That's a team wipe. And ETC comes back for no. He had a zero-man mosh pit. I don't think he can do anything in this type of situation.
The Towers of Doom game, the Dahaka pick did not work out, but in every other way, Ballistix was the more consistent team tonight. They had the better rotations, they had the better cohesion in their squad. And Tempest walks away with, you know, feeling like this series didn't go their way. They weren't able to set up the fights they wanted. Their drafts were good, but the execution was poor. And that's, I think a lot of it goes back to the weakness we pointed out before the series even started is how is Lockdown's solo lane right now? It's just a little bit inconsistent.
And that's SDE's fans right there in the crowd. Go support him. Subscribe to SDE after watching the match. You can get all those emotes. Of course, I'm not his fan, but just shouting it out there. So, was that Irel first pick worth it at the end?
No.
So I was saying stage dive and mosh pit was not really a big impact in this game, which can always be, but it's a big risk when you're up against so many crowd controls like this.
It's just, in this series, Ballistix played a little bit out of their comfort zone, which I appreciated. 2 games of SC Phoenix and 1 best of 5, that's a record breaker. But they played Deckard. They played the sustain game. They played around, making sure that whatever tank Sign was trying to play was going to be low impact, playing around Lockdown's rotations, the invades we saw in Game 1. And in this series, looking at it, I'm just trying to track this a little bit further. Deckard has a 100% win rate in this series. He did yesterday as well. Just keeps winning. His win rate...
Gotta check those papers.
Yeah, let's take a look. He is currently in first place for support, 60.7% win rate. After 3 wins today, he'll jump up to 37 and 22, so probably jumping up like 3 percentage points maybe.
And Whitemane even drops down further.
Yeah.
And Deckard is just those... Because of that zoning, it's the most important tool. And so much slow and the roots, everything. It's pretty crazy.
It is, man. It's, you know, you got to play around Deckard Cain. You have to draft him, or you have to have a comp that has burst. You have to be able to break through. And Tempest tried a few times, but it feels like the cohesion just still isn't there yet with the role swaps. Despite Good being an absolute great DPS, everything that changes around that is still a little bit rocky. Like, no one is going to look at Good and say, well, I don't know if he's a great main DPS yet. He is absolutely a great main DPS,
yes.
and that's why they're doing this, but Lockdown still needs some time. But time is running out because BlizzCon qualifiers are coming up very soon, and with this win, very likely, Ballistix pivots themselves towards that 2nd seed, and Tempest will very likely sit in the grand finals of playoffs, where that the BlizzCon qualifier will be. And you said earlier, if Tempest won this, it would be the first time in a long time where they sit above Ballistix, but maybe it's just not this season.
Maybe not, but we have a lot more matches coming up, and we do have the second match. That was only the first one, and after the second match, we'll have the updated standings with every single team. But they're still not that too far away from Blossom and Miracle, and Blossom is playing the next match when they have that 8-4. So they will have. Well, very likely they are going to have. They are the strong favorite in the second match.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when they have 8-4, if Tempest and Ballistic, if they drop one more match against any other team, they can also be dropped down to 4th place straight.
That's right. And
that's amazing.
When the way that BlizzCon qualifiers work is that for, of course, the winner of the Clash, which has 3 seeds, the top 2 teams get in, but the 3rd seed will have to. They only have to play 1 match, but they will have to contest against probably either Miracle or Blossom. And that's just a terrifying thought right now. Blossom has already defeated Ballistix in the past, and Miracle has both beaten Genji twice and very recently Ballistix in regular season. So you don't feel like your spot for BlizzCon is safe anymore unless you're Genji. And Ballistix winning this means it's a little bit safer. You feel a little bit better about the rest of the season.
Yeah, but the other way for Tempest, because they dropped one. They're sitting at 8-3, both teams. I don't exactly know. We don't really have the exact count, on the set score yet, but we'll have the updated standings. But that was a crazy series. I like the fact that Tempest tried some different types of draft, and we don't really have the same exact draft happening all the time. We had some Zero Tools, had some really cool disc happening in TOD. That was the only game they managed to win.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that when we watch these games, we'll see some of these understandings that I think Ballistix has, knowing that they have to use this Nubarak to get kills repeatedly, and the positioning of Tempest is just not there, right? Like, when we watch Towers of Doom, we go in the second game, you'll see that Ballistix struggled similarly against the Nubarak with Raynor, but they were running triple tanks, so they even put themselves further in a hole. We are going to watch this fight, which obviously is not indicative of this second map necessarily, but Hooligan gets blown up first here.
Yeah, this is the highlight of that turret.
Yes.
Focus happy. Just look at that turret, what it does.
Hitting the bunker right
Takes
now.
out the bunker as well. Does damage on Jungha now. It killed Hooligan last time.
This was sick, Void. Goodbye, everybody. Lockdown's like, who was already going to clear the minions. He was like, oh, this is done, so I'm going to use my Q for the minions.
Final game, not the final game, game number 3.
Well, this is where Ballistix really solidified the series in their hands. Really nice disengage here. Lockdown caught out of position. This is the map where he died solo to Blaze as a Thrall. White main ceiling output showcased further. And then in the final map, this is the fight where you see, look at SC, watch him in this, and SD, look at how much damage they can do to Sign. Who tries to Maj, is stuck, hits no one. And Leoric is not even here. Leoric is not even here. Tempest decided to engage because they didn't want to fight against Punisher plus a team fight, so they decided to try to fight first. Well, they took a bad engagement. We're
오늘
going to have an interview with
3대1의
SDE.
승리팀 발리스틱스의 승동희 선수와 이야기 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 승리 축하드려요.
네, 감사합니다.
Let's have an interview with SDE. Congratulations on your win.
사실 지난 경기 이후에 좀 이번 경기 부담되셨을 수도
After
있는데요.
the last
3대1로
match, I'm pretty sure it was a lot of pressure for you guys. 3-1
이렇게
win.
많이 와서 응원해주시고
We have a lot of
오늘
SDE
경기
fans.
좀 소감 어떠세요?
How do you feel?
저번에 미라클한테 졌을 때 되게 죄책감이
Losing to
많았어요.
Miracle,
왜냐면
I felt
제가
guilty.
개인적인 일로 되게 게임에 집중을
I
못하는
couldn't
그런
focus
상태여서
because of a
그
personal
경기력에도
issue.
나왔는데
And I think that was the reason why we had a bad
되게
result.
팀원들한테 되게 미안했거든요.
I was really
근데 오늘
feeling
그래도
sorry for my
잘해서
teammates.
이겨서 되게 다행이라고 생각하고
And
있습니다.
I'm
미안했지만 오늘
great to
거의
feel that we
이끄셔서
were able to
모든
defeat
이제
Tempest
경기를
today.
이끄셔서 오늘 여기
네.
자리에 나와 계신데요. 그리고
that's why
오늘
you're here as
그 2세트에
an interview.
대학교 서브탱 뽑으셨잖아요.
네네.
But you
좀
guys had
이례적인
triple
이력을 볼
warrior
수 있는데요.
comp today.
뭐 어떻게 얘기가
Pretty
된
rare.
다음에
How
나온
did you guys
픽이었나요?
talk
그게
during the
사실
draft?
저희가 제라투를 쓰려고 했는데
We
상대가 그걸
were
알아서
actually going
뺏어간
to
거라고
use Zeratul
생각해요.
as a last
그래서
pick.
이게 안 죽는 캐릭을 생각하다가
So we were just
제가
thinking
블레이즈를
about
올렸더니 블레이즈요?
a character and then I just
누가-
had my
누가
mouse on
그렇게
Blaze.
전 그냥 올렸는데 블레이즈요? 이러길래 그냥 괜찮을 것 같지 않아?
I was just hovering Blaze and then
그래서
SCSC
약간
just says,
유일하게
"Look, we
내준
should just
2세트의
do Blaze,"
이유가
and then I
거기에
just picked him.
있었군요.
That's how the triple warrior
그리고
comp came out.
이제 그 상대 3딜러가 나왔어요. 그 2세트에서.
네.
예상 가능한 픽이었나요?
And then it was actually 3 DPS from
예상을
Tempest.
정확히 하진 못했는데
didn't
제라투를
really
뺏을 수
expect.
있겠다라고
I
생각을
thought we
하긴
were
했어요.
able
왜
to
그렇게
actually
생각하셨어요?
steal.
왜냐면 저희가
They were
너무
able to steal
제라투를
that
각이었거든요. 근데 제라투를 서브탱으로 기용하면서 3딜러를 뽑을 거라고는 생각 안 했어요.
But I didn't think that
네.
Zeratul would be the solo lane
그리고
as
또 이제
kind of
그
a
영원의
bruiser
전쟁
role.
맵에서
In that way,
레이너가
the solo lane and then having a
방멸자
3
가고 또
DPS.
발라 픽을 보면 딱 봐도 그냥 이제 멸자를
Moving to
어떻게든
game
빨리
3 though.
가져오겠다라는
네네.
그런 조합이었는데요.
How about Tempest having some
사실
Bala in their
한조가
team comp?
멸자의 유일한 딜러였잖아요.
네.
발리스틱스에서는. 그럼 한조가 멸자에 붙어 있고 좀 순둥이
You guys
선수
had Hanzo
혼자서
on
뭔가
SCSC?
한타를 이끌어야 되는 그런 부담감도 있었을 것 같은데
SSD,
경기
you
어떻게
were having the
풀어나가실
main damage.
계획이셨어요?
How did you play the
저는
third game in
근데
DOE?
사실 항상 부담감은 딱히 없어요.
어.
왜냐면
I don't really feel too
나머지
pressured
4명 팀원들이 너무 잘해주고
because
백업을 너무 빨리
my four
와주기
teammates do
때문에
really well.
승철이가 혼자서 멸자를 치다가도
And even when SC is
저희가
on the immortal,
한타를 걸릴 것 같으면 빨리 오는 걸
whenever
되게
he
잘해요.
thinks there's a
그래서
team fight going
걱정
on,
없이
he
그냥
joins
게임했습니다.
immediately.
그런 빠른
So I don't really worry
합류와 또
too
거기에
much.
대한 믿음이 오늘의 경기 결과 만든 건가요?
네네.
And all that trust.
아 그리고
I
이제
think
또
actually brought
각계
the win
전투가
for you
오늘
guys.
정말 많았어요.
아 네.
사실 이때까지 HGC에서는 이렇게 딱 한타가 한 번에 일어나고 다 같이 뭉쳐 있는 모습이 많았는데 오늘 되게 따로따로 오래
There were
싸우시면서
some
고전을
really
하셨거든요.
long
그럴
fights.
때 이제
Usually
약간
we have
궁금한
really
거
good team
보이스
fight at
쪽으로
one
어떤 이야기가
spot. But
발리스틱스는
today we have a lot of
오고
small
가는지
different fights
저희는
all
그냥
around the place.
일단 게임을 하면은
네.
다 야해요 부를 때.
아야.
And when we
야.
start calling each other, we just call
야한 다음에 지가
dude
때리는
or
게
yo.
누군지
Hey.
그걸 말하거든요. 그냥.
네.
야,
And then we just
뭐.
call for the ID.
야
뭐.
쓰랄.
Hey,
야,
throw,
이런 얘기밖에
throw.
안 해요.
아.
That's basically how it's
그럼
shot
약간
call.
목소리가 큰 사람 위주로 좀 때리게 되나요?
Do you usually go for the shot caller who's
목소리는 그때 다
louder?
크고
네.
Everyone's pretty
누가 뭔
loud at
말하는지
that
사실
moment.
정확하게 모르거든요. 그래서
But we don't know what's going on
사실
exactly.
말보다는
네.
게임 화면을 넓게 보는 게 되게 중요한 것
So
같아요.
rather than
근데도
saying a
그런
sentence or
싸움에서도
trying to
각자
speak
이제
a lot,
이겨내서
I think
오늘 한타
looking
기름
at the
진짜 이기는
screen
그림 많이
is
나왔는데요.
very important.
아, 네, 그거는 집중력 싸움이었던 것 같은데 저희가 집중을 더 잘했던 것 같습니다.
집중력에서 우세하셨다는
I
말씀 잘
think we were
들었고요.
actually better
그리고
on
이제
the
마지막 또
concentration
경기에서
level
타커
during the game today.
마지막 특 이제 궁강을 보통 가는데 화끈한 공격하셨어요.
네네.
거기서 이제
And today we
좀
often see
이유가
the big red
있으실까요?
button,
선택하신?
but
그게
when
사실
for the percent damage
제가
at
계속
20,
말했어요. 20레벨이 되면은
네.
오딘 강화에 침묵 묘실에 뭐 데커드 궁 강화에 너무 우리가 더 좋다.
그쵸,
we wanted to go for
네,
20
근데
because we knew that silence
그때
and tomb
싸움이 난장판이 나면서
with that could upgrade
싸우다가 말고 20이 찍혔거든요.
and everything.
네.
근데
I
그때
we
제가
actually had
이미
20 in the
지속
middle
시간이
of the
이만큼
fight,
남았을 때였는데
and
그때
I couldn't really get
오딘 궁강을 찍으면
that
이
much
싸움을
value
질것
out of
같아서
Odin.
오.
그냥 부랴부랴 찍은 거였거든요. 이거
So
이기려고.
in
근데
that midst of time,
그거
I just wanted
찍자마자
to get
한타가
more
끝났어요. 아무도 안
value
죽고.
during the
네.
team
그래서 이거
fight.
큰일
So
났다 했는데 다행히
that's
이겨서
the reason
다행이에요.
why I picked it.
약간 좀 도박이 될 수 있는
And after the
그런
team fight, I thought
선택이었는데
I
어쨌든
was not going to
결과가
get too
오늘
much
네,
value, but it
굉장히
was
괜찮았네요.
overall
그리고 오늘 여기
a
앉아
good one to
계시고요.
choose.
네, 이렇게 좀 긴장감 가지고 오늘 집중력을 또 이제 하면서 앞으로의 경기 좀 마주하셔야 될 것 같은데요. 다음 경기 또 슈퍼노바
네.
방심하면 안 되는 경기죠.
네.
And next one,
어떤 각오로
because
하실
our
건지 오늘 순둔당도 앞에
because our versus
있으니까 좀
Supernova.
카메라는 이쪽 보시고요.
We have all the SD fans
순둔당에게
out there.
말씀하듯이 좀 얘기해 주세요.
Do you want to have any shout-outs?
저희가 미라클한테 뭐 3대1로 지고 뭐 이스턴 때도
네.
블라썸한테도 2대0으로 지고 있을 때도 뭐 저희 순둥단은 항상 응원해 주시거든요.
Even if you were
네,
losing
맞아요.
묵묵히 고양이 그리면서
against Miracle,
응원해
we had
주시는
all the
분들이기
cat
때문에 너무
emotes.
감사하고요.
I'm so thankful for all
그
my
믿음에
fans
꼭
coming down and
보답하도록
also
열심히
always
해서 좋은
spamming
경기
in chat.
보여드리겠습니다.
아,
we
지금 뭐
will have
눈빛에서
the
정말
result,
믿음에
better
보답할 것
results.
같은
We'll show
그런
it to
기운을
you guys.
느꼈어요. 그럼 오늘 인터뷰 여기까지 마치도록 하겠습니다.
That's it
그럼
for the
저희는
interview
잠시
and the first match,
쉬었다가
but we
이
do
경기로
have the second
돌아올게요.
match, Supernova versus Blossom. Stay tuned.